Welcome to the KTB podcast. Today is December the 5th.
5th. It is the 5th.
Yes, because yesterday was my boy's birthday. So today's Saturday, December the 5th, 2020, and here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, and today what we're going to be talking about is surviving COVID, And so, but before we do, we want to go ahead and put a plug in like we always do for our first-time listeners. If it's your first time listening, we are the KTB podcast. KTB stands for Keeping the Balance.
Keeping the balance, baby.
So here we are, two guys, two men, prior Navy vets and stuff like that. If you listen to our previous episodes, you get a little bit of an insight of where we come from, what you'll hear on our podcast, what we're about, and where we're going. We're pretty much dissecting current events, and we're pretty much bringing it to you full front, unfiltered, unscripted, and we're just talking. Just raw.
Talking.
Just raw.
Just having real conversations, man.
Yeah.
It's been really, really, really good.
It's been pretty cool.
Have a good time.
Yeah,
This is fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
Overall, out of all the stuff that we do, this is really fun. No matter who this reaches, I enjoy doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that it reaches somebody, but...
Right.
But it is fun, being able to sit down and dissect different things, and then hearing the feedback for whoever listens to it and stuff.
Right.
That's also pretty cool. But so we want to go ahead and put in a plug. Email is ktbpodcast@gmail.com. Please feel free to leave us a comment on there, leave us feedback, leave us a review. We're on Anchor.
Yep.
We're on Spotify,
iTunes,
we're on Apple Podcasts, and leave us a review, man. Let us know. We read those on a regular basis. We read those often. We're pretty much beginners at this, so we don't have much of a following.
So we need your feedback. We would love your feedback.
Oh, I would love and we do get feedback, believe it or not.
Yeah,
some folks do reach out to us directly and say, hey, this is, pretty cool. And so different things that you might want to, and it's
we
awesome.
get it on a personal level, so we would like some feedback on a larger level.
Yeah, which would be pretty cool. We definitely incorporate it, and who knows, we might read off whatever your feedback is later on if you do leave us something. So definitely email us at ktbpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Those of you watching on YouTube, right over here, top right corner or top left, is our social links. So follow us at the KTB Podcast on Instagram and at the KTB Podcast on Twitter.
Yeah, and YouTube coming soon.
Coming soon. This will be the first video actually posted to our YouTube channel.
Oh, man.
And then after this video, we will be advertising the YouTube channel. So go check us out on all these different platforms.
Yeah, man. So diving into what we're talking about today, which is surviving COVID. I mean,
this is a good one,
bro. COVID was
the vid.
The vid?
The COVID. The COVID.
The China virus.
Man, what is it, the Kung Fu killer? How many different names they got for COVID right now?
Man, I don't know.
The Wuhan flu?
The Wuhan flu. And so, COVID, as many of you already know, hit us in late March.
Yeah.
Early April.
Right after we got out of hospital with Ellie, I remember, because we were home.
You had a newborn.
Yeah, January
That's right.
22nd. Our daughter was born. And soon after that, I'm pretty sure Kobe passed away late January. So sometime after January 22nd, I want to say it was January 26th that he passed away, because it was a few days after we got into the house and got discharged from the hospital. And then COVID hit soon after that.
Yeah.
And then everything shut down.
Everything was crazy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what the mindset. What was your mindset going into COVID? Like when it hit, what was your mindset?
To be honest, bro, it was just another one of those. It was the virus of the year. Right. I felt personally, it was just like a virus of the year, kind of like swine flu was, right? The H1N1.
Mm-hmm.
It was here one day and then it was gone the next day. What else was another one? Was it SARS? Was a big scare for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Ebola. Remember the Ebola scare?
Right.
So, in my mind, like, we had been in a pattern of every year there was a new virus that was going to wipe out the human race. And
that was already in your mind pre-COVID?
That was in my mind pre-COVID.
Get
So
out of
so when people started talking COVID, I'm just like, here we go again.
For real?
Saying, yeah, 100%.
That's crazy.
Because I mean, it was just another year. This was COVID, or they wasn't calling it COVID. It was what were they calling it before COVID-19? Coronavirus. Coronavirus was the first buzzword, and then it changed into COVID-19. But I just thought it was the sickness of the year.
That's crazy.
To be honest.
The way that I saw it, whenever it hit, I saw it as, you know how whenever we get the nor'easterners, the storms that are coming through.
Yeah.
And everybody rushes to the Walmarts and rushes to the grocery stores.
Buys all the batteries.
Buys out batteries. That's what it felt like to me. Like, it felt like a time of preparation because when this thing hits, you don't want to be outside. You want to stay inside.
So you took it serious from the jump.
I took it. Yeah, I did.
I didn't, bro.
I did. I saw it, and I was one of the few walking around with a mask.
Yeah.
When it first hit, and I didn't let anybody come outside from my house.
Right.
And at that time, we had just moved into our new property. We bought a house in February, and the pandemic hit New York. So once I heard it from New York, because my little sister lives up there, my mother and my stepfather still live in New York. And so once I got news from them and I saw, because I was keeping close tabs on it because I was worried about them. And I'm like, man, that's the epicenter of where people are getting sick.
Right.
And then I started seeing the news reports of what it was doing to people, how many people were dying in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is something serious. So I keep tabs on them. And even though we were going through construction in my new house, I still opened up my house to my sister and my mom and my stepfather for them to come down to escape before things got worse in New York.
Yeah.
And so my stepfather was too afraid to leave, but my mother and my sister definitely took me up on that.
I remember that time.
And they came down. And then when they came down was when it started to get a lot more heavier here. And I wouldn't allow anybody to go outside. I'd be the main one. The way that I saw it and I took it was, this is something serious that people are making light of it.
Right.
And it may turn into some, just like they do whenever there's a hurricane that's coming through. People are like, it's going to be...
Nothing's going to happen.
We all prepare, but it's not going to be like anything.
And then you lose your roof. And then it's real to you.
Or a tree falls on your roof and it's like, oh, snap, you know?
Well, let me throw this out there. Because we had been hearing about COVID-19 or the coronavirus before March. So I heard about this maybe, I don't know, December, January time frame. And so when I initially heard about it, that was the mindset that I had. Like, this was just the virus of the year.
Yeah. We're
going to get through it. People are going to forget it even existed. But in March, when things started shutting down, then my mindset started to change. And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of serious.
Yeah.
And me and the wife, whenever we went out, the few times that we had to go out to go grocery shopping, it was masks and gloves.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were never one of those people, like me and the wife, to not wear mask or gloves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To say like that it's fake, even with all the news reports and everything happening in China. So, we took it serious afterwards once things started shutting down at work and the country and yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we even didn't go to church. It shut down churches.
Yeah.
Churches closed their doors completely. You know, and that's, I mean, we're two men that live here in Norfolk, Virginia, but we're two men that are devout Christians, man.
Right. Right.
And so our lives, our social life, I hang out with a lot of Christians. And all the folks that are in church, those are my friends. That's family. That's friends that have become family throughout the years, and relationships, meaningful relationships that have been built. And so a lot of us, that's where we socialize. And so it was alarming when, hey, we've got to shut down.
Yeah.
we've got to shut down. And I was like, okay, it just got real. And you know what? It's the mindset was almost like, hey, take care of your home.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourself and take care of your home.
Right.
Right now is a time, just like if there was a hurricane coming through, you would do your due diligence to go ahead and take care of your home.
Yeah.
Right? And so I saw that and I was like, okay, you know, I can pick up the vibes. It feels a lot of uncertainty, you know, and don't want to cause anybody, because the last thing that you would want is to continue the church open.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember we made a joke. We made
we?
a joke. I remember this.
Did we?
And we said, if the Potter's house closes,
You
this
know
thing is
it's
real.
bad.
You know it's bad. You remember that? Do you remember that?
Yes!
If the Potter's house
No,
closes,
listen.
you know it's bad.
Listen, we don't. The church never closes
We
for
ain't closing.
anything. Listen, man, we have had storms, we have had snow, and as long as I can remember, hey, if you could get out of your house,
Oh yeah.
we're having service.
Oh, yeah.
We're having church service, and
I
if you
remember.
have any type of ministry
Oh,
in
yeah.
church, or if you're faithful,
You're gonna be there.
you're gonna be there.
You're gonna be there.
And if you're not there, somebody's gonna call you and say, "Hey, is everything okay?"
I remember a time when the parking lot was full of snow, and Pastor called for men to come out and help shovel the parking lot
Yeah, and
You
help
remember that?
and help salt it.
and help salt it.
Yep.
And so, hey, like, so if the Potter's house closes down,
Oh, come on.
it's bad. It's gonna be bad. You know. You run out, buy all the toilet paper, man. Because it's over,
Wasn't that crazy?
man.
I went to Walmart. There was no toilet paper anywhere. I went to the Navy Exchange because, you know, I got my veterans card or whatnot. They finally allow veterans. This year's when they started that. They started allowing veterans to be able to shop at the Navy Exchange.
Oh,
And
really?
So, yeah.
Is that in effect right now?
Yeah, that's in effect. That was in effect
Even the
since
commissary?
January.
Or-
Yeah, the commissary also. But it's only
Just
you,
me.
Just you, because I tried going there with my wife, and they were like, no, they said due to COVID, we only allowed
Right.
the member, you know, and so
What do you got to show them?
you got to show them your veteran card. It's a VA card from the Veterans Affairs.
I don't have that. My license has veteran on it. So is that
It's
good?
not gonna work. No, you have to
Suckers.
have an actual veteran's
Suckers.
card. But you just go to Hampton VA, second floor.
I need to do that.
Second floor, you just go in there and they pull up your name, take a picture, then they
And you
give
good
it
to
to
go?
you. That's it. You get to go. But anyways, so I would even go to the Navy Exchange and they had signs up with that would limit one per customer.
Yeah.
One thing of paper towels or toilet paper and Lysol
You know,
per customer.
the toilet paper thing, man, like, it wasn't even like a stomach bug. Like, even though when I had my stomach, it was jacked up. But I don't think people knew that at the time to be buying out the toilet paper.
I think people treated it as like I'm saying, like a hurricane. Like something's gonna hit your city that's gonna cause a shutdown. So what are the major supplies that you would normally go out to the store for that you're gonna run dry on? That's water. That's toilet paper. That's gasoline.
Canned goods.
Canned goods. Exactly. So that's what I would see.
Yeah.
That a lot of these stores started just running out.
Yeah. That's true.
But then when I had COVID, when it hit me, I was like, now I see why people were buying up all the
toilet paper. Yeah,
Because I
man.
had the runs, bro.
Bruh.
And it was the worst. It was bad. It was real bad, man.
Yeah, it was terrible.
So, the mindset before COVID was, let me prepare and I would be the one, hey, give me the grocery list, which I rarely do groceries. Just put it out there. I'm not proud of that, you know, but the wife usually knows what's needed in the house.
Right.
And so she'll
That makes
go,
sense.
And so roles were reversed because I didn't want her to be put out there at risk. If anything were to happen, I'd rather take the risk and
Yourself.
let it happen to me rather than my
It's a
family.
noble thing. It's a noble thing.
It's
to do.
something that I think that every
Men
man
of
should
valor.
have that in there, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think every
You're a
man
protector.
should want to be, should want to put
Mm-hmm.
themselves out there to protect their home.
Absolutely.
And if that's not your thing, then you might want to reevaluate what it is to be a man.
And be a father and be a protector.
Ah,
Right?
yeah.
No, that's true. I agree.
That one was for free.
That was for free. You threw that one there.
It just came out.
Little nugget of wisdom
It
right
just
there.
came out. No, but so that's something that it was crazy, man. And so I would put myself out there, and in me putting myself out there, that's how I ended up catching COVID. That's how I ended up getting it. And at that time, there weren't a lot of people. That I was the first one in our company
Right. Yeah,
to
you were.
have COVID.
Yeah.
No one else in the company had COVID.
I appreciate you getting out of work for 2 weeks too. That was good. Was it 2 weeks or was it 1 week? Whatever it was good. It was a good little break.
Because we were in contact
Yeah,
with each
yeah.
other.
So
Yeah.
I saw the email go out, and I was just like, man, I know who that is. So I hit up boss. And
So here's the crazy thing. When I got it, and till this day, I'm not exactly sure where I got it. I know that I ended up going to do a ship visit at Norfolk Base
Right.
to one of the ships. And I remember going in there with my mask and my glove or whatnot, and I was working on something, and I used one of the tools. I asked one of the sailors for a tool. They let me borrow one of their personal tools that the shop had.
Right.
But that was the only interaction that I had with the sailor. You know, I had my mask on, but he didn't have mask on. He didn't have gloves on or anything like that. And so, but me as a contractor, you know, my requirement is if we're going to do a ship visit, you better have your PPE, which is your proper protective equipment, which what it is now is a mask and gloves.
Yep.
You know?
And they check your temp.
And they check your temperature. They weren't
was they
doing
checking
that.
your temp when you went?
They did not.
They didn't, right?
They didn't.
That's before they set that in place.
That's right. I mean, it had hit, but I don't know if the Navy had their standards out there yet.
Yeah. It was
You know,
it was
to
too
protect
new.
their people.
Yeah.
And so I might have gotten it from that sailor, but I do know that I was also going out to the different grocery stores, Target and Walmart, and I was putting myself out there. So it could have been.
That's the scary thing about it, right? That's the
You
scary
never
thing
know.
about it.
There's
You
no
don't
tracing
know exactly where you got it from, because in your day-to-day life, you're coming in contact with not only a bunch of people, but a bunch of different surfaces.
Exactly.
So, you know, I
bunch
guess
of
the
different
research
things.
shows that, you know, depending on the surface, it could stay on a surface for up to over 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how tight your bubble is, you're gonna have to leave the store at some point.
Yep.
And I noticed a lot of people aren't wearing gloves anymore, and I think they probably should wear gloves, or they should constantly be washing their hands. I think they changed the rhetoric a little bit when it came to gloves, and they said just wash your hands more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Corona first hit, how they were telling people not to wear masks actually, and the people that only need a mask were the people working.
Yeah. Or the people that had it.
Right.
And even if you had it, you shouldn't be outside.
Exactly.
And so if you had a mask on, it's kind of like people were looking at you like...
Exactly.
Because it was undecided. It was not clearly identified whether you should wear a mask or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably why, because I was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And people would look at me like this guy's over the top.
Yeah.
You know, when I had my mask on and stuff.
And now it's the norm, though.
And now that's the norm.
Now it's the norm.
Crazy? Isn't that crazy, bro?
I've kind of settled in myself to I'm actually wearing mine right. Hold up.
You got yours right
I got mine right here, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
You even got one that is
Yeah.
modified to hide the beard.
What?
And not flatten it out.
Ooh yeah.
And not flatten it out.
Not flattening out, man.
Look at that.
These masks are harsh on beards, man. They don't care. It gives me the swoosh. It gives it a swoosh in the beard. I don't like it.
Whatever.
I'll take that off. Probably sounded horrible on the recording.
But all right, so you know what's okay? So when I had it, because I had it before you did.
You did.
I had it, and in our circle of friends, the only other person that we knew that had it was Morty. And Morty works at a car dealership. And so we're like, man, he comes in contact with so many different people throughout the day. That's how that's your line of work, man.
Yep.
You know? And so you're going to come in contact with people. How do you look at that time when it's new, approaching somebody with a mask on?
Right.
When it's undecided, you know what I mean? So he had to do what he had to do and ended up coming down with it. Now, till this day, I've never really asked him. We were supposed to have him for this podcast, but he had other things to take care of, and so but it would be pretty cool to, because I wanted to ask him that, like, hey, where do you think you got it? Like, I know that I have an idea of where I got it, but where do you think you got it? Was it when we gathered together at church? Was it when you were hanging out with a person, or interacting with a customer, or interacting with an employee?
Right.
You know, it could have came from anywhere.
So many places.
Exactly. And so, but I do know this, is that when he had it, and he had it pretty bad, he had to isolate himself in his son's room.
Right.
And he had to sleep in his son's bed. because he didn't want to infect his wife
right.
and his little boy. And so he took one for the team, bro.
Yeah.
And when he told me that, he's like, yeah, I'm over here trying to, sleeping on this bed and it's pillow, and I'm only limited to this pillow.
Ninja Turtle sheets. It's not comfortable, man.
Little Mario sheets. You got Mario stickers that you're staring at all
Mario?
day.
Is it Mario?
Yeah, I think he's got a Mario theme. But
he would. He's Italian.
I remember going and I'm like, man, I feel for you, bro, and anything that we could do to help, because Judy didn't want to leave. Well, she couldn't leave because if he had it,
right,
she had to be quarantined. Also,
yeah.
She's not allowed to leave because then there's a risk of spreading it. And so me and my wife reached out and said, hey, whatever you need. Like if somebody is really sick, somebody just had a baby, or somebody's recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
That's what we do within our circle of friends. That's what we do.
And it means a lot too, man.
Where we reach out to one another like, hey, you just had a baby. She's normally cooking. My wife will volunteer to cook a meal for you throughout the week. And we gather, we rally pretty much and support each other.
Support circle.
And that's extremely helpful, man. Especially when a lot of us are here and our immediate families are in different states. Right?
I think that's what keeps people, this is a little side note, but I think that's what keeps people in the church, because a lot of people, especially in our area,
keeps people in any community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in our church, it's primarily military.
Yeah.
Or prior military, and so unless you're from Virginia, your family is not that close anymore. So a lot of people get out of the military and they go back home to where their support circle is. But the church does a really good job of creating a new support circle. Yeah. A new family, a new set of people to call family and friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a huge blessing because, we always have people deploying all the time. Women deploying.
I remember getting a care package.
Right.
When I was deployed.
And not just that, not just the person that's deployed, but the spouse that's at home.
Staying behind. Yeah.
Because, some spouses, if left to their own devices, they'll flake off or they'll leave. You know what I'm saying? It's just not good. They'll fall off. And so just both of those dimensions, having support while you're out to sea, and then your spouse having support back on the home front from the whole church means a lot, man.
It is. It does. It does.
Now it's just a side note.
Yeah, no, but it is true, man. And so that's what kind of, and it's almost like when somebody's in need and somebody that that you've known for years, and something like this happens to them, they're one of the first ones. Naturally, it's like, how can I help?
How can I help? What can
What's
I do?
up, man? What do you need?
Yeah.
A couple of times that we ran and did groceries, and I was at Target and I found this like comfy pillow, you know what I mean? And I just thought about it because he made the note like, yeah, I'm over here cramped up on my son's bed, and
so you brought him a pillow?
This crappy pillow, and so he just mentioned that, and I was like, I'm gonna get him a pillow, man, just kind of alleviate him a little bit, because when you're down for COVID, and I didn't know this up until I had it, you're laying down, your body feels wasted, and so fast forward, talking to him, he recovered big time, and he was extremely grateful for the support that he had from whoever supported him. Yeah. Because I'm sure that our family weren't the only ones that reached out and helped, but he got because when it hits you bad.
Oh, yeah.
It affects your breathing. It affects your let's run down through the symptoms real quick.
All right.
Taste. Yeah. You lose it. Smell. You lose it. Diarrhea. You have it.
Yeah. Appetite. You lose it. I lost mine anyway.
Oh, bro.
Because I heard some people say they don't lose their appetite.
I lost like 25 pounds, bro.
How much did I lose? I think I lost 10. Bro. I lost about 10 pounds.
All right. So appetite, you lose it. Fevers. You have it.
Body aches.
Extreme.
Bro.
Extreme.
It got to the point where, like, I was so weak, I could only sit up for about, 5 minutes before I got, like, dizzy and had to lay back down. It was bad, man. Like, I had no strength. And I had to gradually kind of work my way up to standing up again. Because you don't want to get blood clots and stuff like this. There's a bunch of health complications that come along with laying down for too long. Right. So I knew that. So I'm like, I have to move a little bit. I have to get up, and even if it's just like walking around the room. But it took a while to get to the point where I could stay up and out of bed in an upright position for an hour before I had to go lay back down.
Yeah.
Because I was just too weak. And so, dude, it sucked, man. It saps the life out of you, man.
Absolutely. Coughing. You have it. Like, a lot.
Actually, I didn't cough that much.
You didn't cough that much?
I didn't cough that much.
So, that's how mine started. Which, that's what's so crazy about this whole COVID thing, because you caught COVID
Right.
on the latter end.
Yeah.
Like, you caught it in October?
Was it October? Yeah. Yeah, October, yep.
It was,
yep.
so 2 months ago.
End of October.
2 months ago, man.
Yeah.
I caught mine April.
Yeah.
May, I think.
Mm.
April or May. February, March. The beginning of April.
Yeah.
The beginning of April is when I caught it. So, big gap in when we caught it.
Yeah.
Some of the symptoms, a little bit different. Because the way that I started was, and I was already wearing masks, but I felt itching in the throat. And a little...
I felt that too.
Always clearing my throat.
I thought it was allergies.
I thought it was allergies too, man.
So I started pounding
Vitamin C,
Tylenol, and Zyrtec.
right, to clear up the allergies. So I suffer from allergies big time when it comes to.
Yeah.
You've seen me. My
Yeah.
eyes get all.
You're
itchy.
bad. You get it pretty bad.
My eyes get swole up. My nose starts leaking, and
Yeah.
it's one day I'm miserable. But if I get a good night's rest, the next day it's like nothing ever happened.
Right.
But when I have it, it looks like I have a severe cold.
Yeah.
Like I look
same
hard.
way.
I, look
I
like
even
death.
get body aches sometimes too with my allergies.
So I would get like the sneezing and the coughing, and that would make me jerk where I have a sensitive back.
Right.
You know, since the forklift accident and stuff. So that's always been a tender area. And then sneezing would trigger that pain, trigger that sciatic nerve, you know, and those discs bumping.
Oof.
That's neither here nor there. But, so anyways, when I first started, I had these coughs, and that's how it started. Morty had recovered. He was 100%, man, doing good.
Yeah. And
then I was doing the coughing, and then I was like, I started walking around the house with a mask on because I didn't know what it was. My sister was looking at me like I was crazy. She's like, what are you doing with the mask on at the dinner table? And I'm like, I don't want to get you sick because I don't know what this is. She's like, it's just a cough. And I'm like, yeah, but you never know.
Wait, so your sister was in town at that time?
My sister and my mom was still here.
Leaving from New York?
Leaving from New York.
Fleeing from New York to come here somewhere.
They were here for like a good 3 months.
Because New York was bad.
Yeah, it was the
bad.
epicenter, man.
Yeah, that was like in the news. New York had it the worst.
They did.
Because you got so many people living in such a close proximity of each other.
They got hit hard.
I bet.
And then ended up shutting down. So, my sister's here, and I'm walking around with this. My wife is uncertain. She's like, she's going off of what I'm feeling. Because I've been the main one outside, and I'm like, babe, I don't know. And then the next thing you know, I couldn't, like, Josie went to the extent of, okay, you're not feeling good? You sleep up here, and I'll sleep with the kids downstairs. And I'm like...
So you was all alone?
And I'm like, it's not that serious. I try to flip the script. I try to flip the script like, come on, girl, it ain't that serious. She's like,
come back to bed.
She's like, no. You feeling like you had a little cough? I'm going to go downstairs. And I'm like, you know? But, so long story short, I lost my taste. And I'm like, and I can't smell, I can't taste. And then I didn't feel so good, man. And that's when that caused me to call Morty. And I'm like, hey, bro. This is what I'm feeling. And he's like, those are red flags, man. I hate to tell you, but those are red flags. You need to go and get tested.
That was a big flag for me.
And that's when I went to go get tested. And then that following week, I got the results positive.
Yep. Yeah, when I lost my taste and smell, I was like, I think I need to go get tested. So I got online.
Wasn't that crazy?
It was. Dude, not being able to smell anything. Don't you feel so like vulnerable? That's how I felt. I felt like vulnerable. I feel like I was missing out on life. I couldn't smell. I couldn't taste. And so with that that combination, I didn't want to eat either. Yes. And so it was just like, I'm missing out on a lot.
I saw it as, okay, I can't smell. Big freaking deal. That means I don't have to smell myself. I just like
no, you stink.
It wasn't.
I can't smell it.
I can't smell it. Oh well. And so it wasn't that big. It was like, okay, I can't smell. and then I can't taste. That was the one that
Yeah.
kind of threw me for a loop, and I'm like, what the heck? Why can't I? No, like I couldn't believe it. I was in denial that I couldn't taste. Like I would try something, and
nothing there.
Nothing.
Just texture.
Yeah. And
That's so disgusting.
Bro, and it was so and this is what amazed me about here in our area is that, and I don't know if you had this, but when I had it, the someone assigned to the CDC for the city of Norfolk, a nurse called me and
Followed
said,
up on you?
"Hey, I heard that you popped positive for COVID. I'm nurse such and such. I work with the department here in the city of Norfolk,
right?
And I will be your nurse. This is what you need to do, and this is what the proper protocol that you need to take, and this is what your wife needs to do. Who else is in your house?"
Right.
And she began the whole back tracing investigative. She was almost like a detective.
They didn't do that with me.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the difference of when it first happened to now.
Exactly.
Things have changed.
They kind of settled into it. People have the information now.
But this is what made it even more scary.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've got a nurse. I've got my own personal nurse
sign
that is making sure, calling me every day, once or twice a day, to check on how I'm doing, to see if I can breathe fine, to see what the fevers look like. She would write down what the fevers are, and my wife's job was to take my temperature every morning and every night.
And report that to the nurse.
She would call me. The nurse would call me and ask me, okay, what were the results for last night? What were the results? So what are you feeling now? And she was even nice enough, and this is not her job, but she went above and beyond. She even dropped off some masks, some hand sanitizer.
Really?
She dropped off a thermometer, one of those high-tech ones.
Oh, the ones you can just point?
Yeah, man.
Those aren't cheap
she ended up dropping it off, and she did that, man. And even when everything was said and done, we went ahead and me and my wife made a little care package for her. Yeah, and
That's
dropped
dope.
it off to her, to the right there in downtown Norfolk, and
Right.
said, hey, I know your job is crazy. You've gone above and beyond. To me, you've gone above and beyond. She's like, no, I'm just doing my job. And I'm like, but to me, it made a world of a difference.
Right.
Here's me saying thank you to you.
Right.
So the wife, you know how the ladies are. They put something cute together. So,
Yeah.
but that's how serious it was, man.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the way that we handled it was, no, you are upstairs. You're not going anywhere. The bathroom upstairs can only be used by you. The master bedroom is yours to stay in. And I can only imagine what Morty went through because all he had was his son's room. I had the master bedroom. Like, she was nice enough, but then again, I had my office set up in the master bedroom and all that stuff. It just worked out that way. And good thing that we had extra bedrooms for her to be able to stay downstairs with my daughter and stuff. But it was treated as if I had like a virus-killing infection.
Yeah. So question. So how long was that period from you thinking it was allergies to where you got tested?
A week.
So you had been with your wife that whole time?
Yep.
So the likeliness that she had it was probably high. That she already had it.
Yep.
Most likely. Because that's what happened with me. Now, like I said, I went through that time. I thought it was like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, it's just allergies. Let me keep, just drink some water, vitamin C, Zyrtec, and let's wait it out. Well, lo and behold, I go to CVS. I take that long cotton swab, stick it way up my nose to your eyes water.
You did your own test?
Yeah, I did my own test. Actually, okay, so hold on. When you got sick, work required me to go get tested. Okay. And so the first time I got tested was at the what is it? Velocity.
Yeah. And
then they did the swab test, but the second time I went to the CVS. You could make an appointment now. So they've streamlined this whole process.
Wow.
The process has gotten a lot better from when you did it.
Yeah.
And so now you set an appointment on CVS website or app. You drive through the drive-through at your time slot. They give you the test. You take the Q-tip out. You stick it way up your nose to your eyes water. You do it yourself.
That's crazy.
I actually I felt like I was in control.
Really?
And I knew I was doing it right because my eyes started watering.
Yo.
So like I was
I just remember when
I was
had
scrubbing
it,
my brain,
and
bro.
I'm sitting there, and the lady's like, "All right, I'm gonna swab your nose real quick." I was like, "Okay," and she goes, "What?" I was like, "Oh, oh, what the heck just happened?" My eyes water. I was like, "What?"
Yo, and then they
That's
have to
it?
go in the second nostril. So I did the second one, put it in a test tube, broke it off, whatever, bop bop, threw it in the bin, and that was it. And then I think about 4 days later, the results came back, and it was positive. And I was just like, oh, well, there we go. Here we go. And by then, I'd already felt like crap. You know what I'm saying? I already been going through it, and loss of appetite, smell, taste, all of that. And it got really bad, man. It got really bad.
So how'd you handle it when you got news that it was positive? How did that affect you?
Well, it was okay. So the biggest news I've ever gotten in my life was me being 17 years old, and my wife now calls me and tells me she's pregnant. Right. So that was a 10. No. That was a 20. On a scale of 1 to 10, that was a 20.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
So
I can only imagine at 17,
bro. So getting the news that I tested positive on a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 4, bro.
Okay.
It was about a 4 because once I lost my taste and smell, I was almost certain that I had it anyway. I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's what helped me. That helped cushion the blow for me when Morty, I gave him the symptoms of what I had, and he's like, yeah, you definitely, I'm sorry, but you probably more than likely have it. And so when I received the results, it was because I had already had that talk with my wife, like I might have it, you know, more than likely I have it.
Yeah.
And so that helped process that a lot better.
Soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah, it did. So you tell me, what kind of support, how'd you feel about the support that you had once you had it, and how you spread it, how you disseminated that news? How was that for you?
Okay, so I got the information back saying that I was positive, and then from there, you know what that means. You know, I'm gonna be out for a minimum of 14 days, or was it 10 working days, or whatever. Then I shot it over to Pastor, and I believe I shot it over to you, and I think it might have been Champ, something like that. Just the people I'm close with. I didn't want to send it out to, I don't need to put it on blast, send it out to the whole church. Hey, it's not my job. But I reached out, and I think, was it the same day that I told you that I sent you, you came and dropped off the coconut water?
Absolutely.
I believe that was the only thing that I took in for 3 days.
Wow.
Was coconut water. That's it. I couldn't stomach anything else. I tried some chicken noodle soup, and it tasted like I was eating dirt. It was disgusting. You can ask the wife, and she tasted it. She was like, "This tastes fine." I'm like, "No, it's disgusting. I can't." And so for the first 3 days, coconut water, and I think about 4 or 5 days later, Milton and Zulema, they cooked for us and then dropped off food. Who else? Tammy. I believe Tammy. In the beginning of it, Tammy dropped off the Zyrtec and the Tylenol. So that helped out big time. But I didn't expect a lot of people to collapse on us, you know what I'm saying? Because naturally people kind of want to COVID, you want to stay away. But the love that we did get was very much appreciated. Like, it touches you, because when you're down and out, when somebody does something for you, it means a lot. Like, when you're
it's magnified.
When you're on that desert island by yourself and you're dehydrated, and somebody comes and brings you a handful of water, that person just saved your life. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel. That's how you process it.
Like you got a lifeline.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Or second wind.
Or second, right? You know what I'm saying? And it was encouraging, man. and it felt really good that, people are thinking about you on that level to go out of their way
Yeah.
from their regular routine, their regular schedule, prepare a meal, go to the store, get something, and then bring it to your house. Means a lot.
Yeah.
And that just makes that whole, process a lot easier for the person that's going through it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I hear you. That's good, man. No, and that's awesome, bro, to be able to. So when I was going through the worst, well, when I had it, obviously it was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was devastating
Right.
to me,
Yeah.
where it's like, you've got this, and you have your elderly mother that has pre-existing conditions
Mm-hmm. In the house with you.
in the first floor, right below you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have your sister that's here, and
Her son.
her son, which she's working through court situations and trying to win over
Mm-hmm.
full custody of her son with her baby's father in New York. He's giving her a hard time, and so the last thing
And,
that I would
not only that, your mom fled New York for that very same thing.
they both did,
Right.
and she brought her son with her
Right.
to flee New York to keep from getting sick, and so here they are, and I have it. Devastating, bro. To me, I was like, I feel horrible right now,
Right.
but I would feel even worse if any one of them
Got sick.
were to get sick. And
Yeah.
even my kids, like, I was fearing for my kids, but my kids are strong. I got a lot of faith in them, man.
Mhm.
And I got a lot of faith in my wife. She's strong too, and she would be down, and it would have sucked if she would have had it, but I think she was asymptomatic, which
So-
she could be around somebody that has it, but not necessarily fall to the sickness of it.
Same thing with my wife.
And yeah, and so, and once we had already been together for about a week,
Mhm.
and I had like a cold sweat fever, and that's
about
when I
that.
started feeling weird. And she was sleeping in the bed next to me. Sure, we wasn't hugging up on each other, but she was right next to me, so
Mhm.
she didn't show any signs. I felt pretty confident,
Mhm.
in that, but I was definitely afraid for the rest of my household, man.
Yeah.
And so, when I had it, the way that I felt about COVID and how would you process it if you were to have it, I want to let everybody know, because a lot of people at that time were like, some people are getting it, not a lot of people are getting it.
Mhm.
New York is the epicenter. Here is barely
Right.
touching.
Yeah.
There's barely some folks getting sick and dying from it and stuff. Here I am, and I have it. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, listen, this is real, guys. I got it, And I let Pastor know, Pastor Rodriguez, my immediate pastor and stuff. And so I let them know. I let folks in my inner circle know,
Mhm.
hey, I got COVID.
Right.
Pray for me, man.
Yeah.
Because this sucks.
Mhm.
And so did I get an immediate response? Yeah, man, especially from Morty. My hat's off to him.
Because he had been through it.
Because he had been through it, man.
Right.
And so he came through clutch, bro, and it was amazing. I was so grateful, to be able to feel that kind of love where it's
Right.
like that support. And you're right. It's like when you're on a desert island by yourself and that one person brings you, it could be something very small.
Anything.
And brings it to you and says, here, this is for you and your family. You're going to get, he even wrote me the card. The card is on my fridge right now.
This one right here?
Yeah. With the first care package that he dropped off to me and my family, he had that card in there, and it's, sending get well wishes. And look at that, man.
Was it, stay strong. This may feel overwhelming. Fighting the C-19, God will protect you and your family. When in doubt, speak in the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. So he doesn't know how impactful that was,
Yeah.
and how that, you want to talk about a second win?
Yeah.
My man, I'm talking about, I felt energized when I saw that.
Yeah.
You know how we hear or even read
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible how it says that words can bring life.
Bring
or
life.
death?
Yeah.
Bro, those words brought
life. Yeah.
When I read that, it brought life to me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be able to get through this, because at that time I was feeling not only the cold sweats, I was feeling the dizziness. I was feeling the body aches. I've gotten jumped before. You know, being raised in Queens, New York. You
and
know,
you used to box. Too.
Rolling with and I used to box. I've had different boxing matches where at the end of it, you walk out of there, you got a headache, and the headache remains until the next day.
Yeah.
You know, and other times it's not even the headache, it's the body aches. You know, and I've gotten into real scraps back in the days and rolling with the wrong people, or even just different situations that transpired. You throw down with a group of people. You got you got somebody right here. Somebody's hitting you from the back. In the moment, adrenaline is pumping, but the next day,
you feel it.
The day after, and the day after that, you feel that soreness. Then you start seeing the bruises,
the lumps.
That's what it felt like.
Right.
When I had it, it felt like my body was weak, like wasted. And then when I'd get up, it felt like somebody had just taken a 2x4 to my ribs, to my shoulders, and my legs. And the worst moments where I would receive something like that, or I would see Ms. Damaris come and drop off groceries.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like we're not even hurting for groceries,
right?
But
thank you.
Her heart, you know, I don't know what your need is, but here we are.
Here's something.
Here's something.
Any way I can help.
That love for those that were there for us at that time, bro. Forever grateful, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Using your bathrobe a lot, right? I think I FaceTimed you a few times.
All the time.
And every time you answer using your bathrobe, like, how you doing, man? Oh man, just chilling, man. I'm alright.
I was in my bathrobe.
Get through it. Ernie in his bathrobe, man.
In that bathrobe, bro. So there were times where, and you know, like you would get dizzy and you would be in bed and stuff. So when those times came for me, and you might call me stupid or crazy, but I would look at it as, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna let you beat me.
Oh yeah.
And I would get up and I would start doing jumping jacks. I'd start doing push-ups.
Yeah.
I'd start doing mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers?
And the kids, like Josie would be like, cut it out! You know what I mean? Like,
get back in bed!
What are you doing? You're working out? Like, because they would hear me.
Right, jumping around.
I'm not going to let you win. You know?
You're going to beat me, COVID? No, but that's valid. I think that's the mentality that you have to have.
Embrace the suck, man.
Because some people will give in and feel sorry for themselves, and then you start speaking that into your own mind that you're gonna die, and then ultimately you speak that into reality and you succumb to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's everyone's situation, but I think we don't realize sometimes how strong our mind is.
Yeah.
And how our mind and our body is 100% connected. And so if you think positively and you say, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to beat this, this is not going to get the best of me.
Check.
That's the results that you're going to get.
That's right.
You know? But if you lay in bed, you feel sorry for yourself, you start saying, this is it. This is my time. God's calling me. You know what I'm saying? You start speaking negative, your body is going to say, oh, okay, I guess it's time to shut down. You know, and that's not every case.
Right? No, because this thing has evolved.
There's levels to it.
Yeah.
There's levels. But quick note: did you hear? Speaking about evolving, did you hear about the case in the Netherlands?
No.
There was a mink farm. You know, the mink, like the little weasels or whatever, the nice fur.
Yeah.
Right. There was a mink farm, and it turns out these mink started contracting a mutated form of COVID-19.
Shut up.
Of the coronavirus.
How could they even go ahead?
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know if like the farmhands started getting sick, but they came in. The government came in and started testing. They tested the minks.
The minks?
Skink is some completely different animal. They started testing the minks, and they found this mutated version of COVID. So the government they had to shut down the farm and kill every single one of the minks.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and this was in the Netherlands, so
that's
crazy,
insane.
crazy stuff.
I never even knew.
Yeah.
So now, did you survive COVID?
Mm-hmm.
I survived COVID. Are there any side effects that you feel from it?
Oh yeah, I don't have my sense of smell back all the way.
Serious?
Dead serious. Like we were on outreach just a minute ago, and my wife and Robin was like, "Y'all smell weed in the air?" I'm like, "I don't smell anything." Like I have to be close to something in order to smell it. But I'd say like on like percentage base, my smell is at like a 60% of what it was before COVID. My taste is at 75%. I'm hoping that comes back gradually.
Yeah.
It's been what, 2 weeks since I've recovered, or 3 weeks, and so I'm hoping that that comes back 100%, because there's been cases that people have lost their sense of taste and smell and have never gotten it back.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
That's horrible.
Because they say it's not just
because that's one of the reasons why I had a loss of appetite.
Right.
Was because I couldn't smell or taste the
right.
food.
Right.
I felt like I was chewing gum, and
Yeah.
so I'd be like, I don't even want to eat this. I don't even want to stomach it.
So what the studies are saying is that this is it attacks your neurological. It's a neurological disease. So it attacks your brain. So actually, that's why, because your brain is your command center for your sense of taste, your smell, all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if it attacks your brain and your central nervous system, then it could permanently damage those systems. So I guess depending on the severity of how bad you had it,
yeah,
will determine how bad, how well you recover. And so that's still stuff that they're trying to work out and trying to figure out, because like I said, we still don't know everything about this.
Right.
Now they have the vaccine, that Obama, Bush, and Clinton have agreed to take in public.
Yeah.
But I'm not one to distrust vaccines or vaccination. I'm not like an anti-vaxxer or anything like that. But I feel like it may be a little rushed. There's
So that's interesting, because I'm completely against any vaccines.
Any vaccines?
I am. I'm completely. Which, hey, if you're not anti, that's cool. As for me, I don't. Now, I do take the flu shot.
The flu shot, right?
The flu shot,
right.
So,
and we've been heavily vaccinated in the Navy.
In the Navy,
we're immune to a lot of things.
Countries that,
right.
You got to protect yourself from malaria and stuff like that. We've all gotten that shot that ends up looking all nasty.
Yeah, you still got the scar from that.
Well, they put mine where my tattoo is. And
so you can't see yours?
Yeah, you can't really see
I can see mine.
But I can see a little bit of a deformity on the top part of my tattoo over here.
Yeah.
But I remember when that happened, and I'm like, oh, we've been heavily vaccinated, man.
Oh, big time.
The different places.
From the minute you enter into the Navy.
Yeah. And so I'm not completely against it. Let me just say this. Anything new that's put out that says, take this and it'll protect you from this and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
No, I haven't had a vaccine in forever. Like my kids, before they start school, they get their vaccinations and stuff like that. So you're not against that?
No. Because I take my kids. Go ahead.
Yeah, but as adults, you kind of, we don't go to the doctor as much.
Yeah.
I don't, anyway.
I don't either.
But, I do what's required for my kids to get into school, but beyond that, no.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, cool. So, the only side effect that I've got that I notice every now and then is, I lose my balance.
You lose your balance?
I lose my balance sometimes, and that's, for somebody that, as athletic as I used to be, and as active as I am, and as active as I used to be, I never had a problem with balance. I've always actually prided myself in being able to have better balance than most.
Yeah.
And I noticed just randomly, just different times where I would just take a step and I'm like, whoa.
Really?
What the heck was that?
Is your equilibrium's just off?
It feels like that, man. And I don't know. It might be due to inactivity in the gym. I don't know. But that's something that I never had a problem with before, man.
Are you prone to ear infections?
No.
Never? No. I don't think I've ever had an ear infection either.
Only when I was a baby, yeah.
Because I think, like, with the inner ear is responsible for, like, a big... I'm getting all scientific now, right? But your inner ear is responsible for, like, your equilibrium.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And so if you have if you get ear infections, there's a possibility that you could lose your sense of balance.
Huh.
And I don't know if ear infections is like a big thing with COVID or anything like that. I don't know anything about that.
I know that I didn't have an ear infection.
Me neither.
But I know that this is something that is... So I'm just taking account of how my body is now post-COVID.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest differences. I have my sense of taste. smell. I go to the bathroom regularly, you know,
Right.
but one of the things that I have noticed is my equilibrium, and it's kind of just randomly. It would just, I'm just doing a certain task, or I move a certain way, and I'm like, whoa,
Whoa,
what
whoa,
the heck?
whoa.
Yeah, that's happened.
Mm.
That's not me.
Yeah. That's,
So I don't know if that's a side effect.
is that
I don't
all?
know if anybody else.
Is that all you?
That's all.
I know Dustin. Well, I don't know if you talked to Dustin recently, but he's saying that his focus was off. Like he found he couldn't focus on anything. Like even when he went back to work.
It's probably low testosterone, bro. Hey, I'm serious. Hey, low T.
He's gonna hear this.
I'm sorry, Dustin. Hey, I lose focus too. I'm guilty. I may have low T. I don't know.
Well, this is something.
I know what helps. Lifting. Come over to my house. We'll flip some tires. It'll get rid of that. I'll just play.
He's so slow. But no, it's something that he said he had an issue with. Like
Low T?
no. Man, I'm done with you, man. I'm gonna have to cut this segment out.
I'm just playing.
Yeah,
We're a bunch of jokesters, bro.
No, he
Okay,
said
bro.
he couldn't focus. He couldn't focus at work. Like just concentrating on something.
Yeah.
It was just extremely hard because, like I said, like this COVID-19, the studies show that it attacks your brain. And I mean, if you're using your brain clearly to focus, you need your brain to focus on tasks.
Yeah, but isn't that something? And this is why it's so interesting to talk about this, is because isn't that something that we would see some sort of documentation or a certain pattern within individuals? I don't know if it's between X amount, this age group.
Yeah.
The age group of millennials who had COVID, these are the symptoms, and these are what they might think are side effects from having COVID. I've never looked into that, and whoever's listening, I don't know if there is even any information out there documenting any of this. But it's interesting hearing all these things because, especially the way that you're talking about and how it affects your brain. Then, hey, would it affect my brain too? You know, should I, or would I, or have I even noticed?
Right.
I don't know.
It's so weird, man, because the scary thing about this is there's so many symptoms. And you could have COVID, and you could have all the symptoms. You could have 2 of the symptoms, or you could have no symptoms.
Right.
But you still got COVID-19.
And the test would come out as positive because Milton had COVID, and he had COVID around the same time that you had COVID.
Yeah.
Which was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And Milton,
Close. About a month ago.
Milton, his whole family came down with COVID
Yeah.
except for his wife. All his 4 girls had COVID. I believe it was all 4 of them. And Annabelle has
asymptomatic.
Annabelle has pre-existing conditions. She's allergic to everything.
Everything, yeah.
Where if she comes around peanuts or
Yeah.
it's in the room,
Yeah.
she begins to break out. And so allergic to a whole bunch of different things. So his fear of this COVID thing was her.
Real. Oh, yeah.
Was her, you know? And so when they had it, it was very real for them. So we were there for them as much as we could and stuff. But I check up on him. He's like, yeah, I'm doing good. I just got done with a 3-mile run. I'm like, what? Who the heck? And Milton is 6. How tall is he?
He's a big boy. The Milton is a big boy. He's well, I don't know,
Milton
is he
is
6'2"
big.
or something?
He's at least
might be
6
6
2
foot.
or 6'3", and he weighs at least
60?
No, he's lost a lot of weight. He used to weigh 260. I think he's down to 140.
You know, 140.
I mean 240. I'm sorry.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
gosh! Can you
That's
imagine
pretty
Milton at 140?
That'd be Skeletor.
Yeah, no, he'd be on his deathbed at 140, bro.
He looks sickly for real.
Yeah,
He
no.
looked like the Crypt Keeper.
At my heaviest, I was 235.
235.
Bro, yes, at 5'8",
Oh man.
235.
Yeah, you were out of shape.
Now I'm down to 195.
Hey.
Praise
that's
the
what I'm
living
talking
God.
about. Yeah, man, that's dope. But so Milton has picked up running. He picked up running before COVID. And he'd run with Alejandro.
Yeah.
Who's a beast.
A unit?
This dude is the what?
A unit.
Oh.
He's an absolute unit.
Oh.
You thought I called him a eunuch?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, that's foul.
I know that's what you thought I said. No, man.
Is that what my face said?
Yeah,
like
I'm like, what could he have thought I said? He's a unit, man. He's a T-1000.
He is. That dude is a machine. Well, I mean, he's a new recruit for the fire department.
Yeah.
Here in Norfolk.
But he's
Fire
been
department.
he's been back on it since he left and trained with the Marines that one time.
So he's been fit and he's been running. Milton's been running with him. So
Yeah.
you could. That just goes to show how fit Milton really is with his running. How much he's taken it on and he soaked it all in. So when COVID happened, I think he just wanted to test the waters and see, okay, I know I got COVID, but let me go for a run, you know, and see how I do. And he was like nothing.
Like nothing.
Like nothing. Took this COVID like a champ, bro.
So was he asymptomatic or did he have it bad at one point?
I don't know. You know what? That would have been... He would have been another good one to...
Yeah. Maybe we'll revisit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll revisit. Maybe a part 2.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be cool if we could have Morty, Milton, and Dustin and just go through some quick questions and interview them on this. But
yeah.
So anyways, so everybody got it, but it seems like later on, as COVID passed the summertime, let's say past August, COVID has changed in the symptoms in people, in different folks.
Right.
And so...
It was supposed to be gone by now. Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember the initial reports where they said it's going to be really bad in the summer? No. Because it started winter of last year, right? Mm-hmm. And so people said that in the summer it would get really bad again. Mm-hmm. Or, I'm sorry, in the summer it would be killed off by the heat.
Yeah, that the heat would be...
The heat would kill COVID. You know, these 90-degree days that we're having would completely kill off COVID-19.
Yeah,
and then in the winter it would kick back up again.
That was debunked.
Man, you know what happened? What happened to the heat? Not killing? I don't know.
Who knows, bro?
It didn't work.
So I want to touch on this real quick, man. How do you think leaders? How do you think the leaders did in tackling the pandemic? And by leaders, I mean
Trump.
Well, I don't want to touch on.
He's you don't want to touch on that.
I don't want to touch on Trump. I don't. Go
I would just say Trump didn't take it serious at first.
Okay. Yes.
Like most Americans.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest. He's just the American in charge, right? And he didn't take it serious, just like a lot of Americans did in the beginning. And I admit it, I didn't take it serious at first. I thought it was the disease of the year, and so. But once he did start taking it serious, I think he took all the proper precautions that he needed to, right?
So now, speaking on that, how do you think leaders in our immediate leaders, which the two that I could think of is my CEO at work and my pastor,
right?
You know, well, my pastor would come first, but let's just from a business perspective, that's why I put it that way. How do you think within our company, because we work for the same company, how do you think our leaders took it as far as the precautions?
I think they took it. I think they took it very seriously, from Jump Street, right?
Absolutely.
Because as a business, you can't afford to, take things, you can't afford to be lax in certain areas and take that risk, right? So if you know that there's a risk, your job as a company is to mitigate that risk, right?
As much as possible.
As much as possible.
Absolutely.
So you have to take it serious.
And come up with different ways to counter this, because we still have to meet deadlines.
Right.
And realistically, deadlines are going to have to be pushed because this is a world pandemic. This isn't just a Norfolk, Virginia pandemic.
No.
This isn't just a Virginia Beach
pandemic.
This is global. So it's going to affect different severities of every industry, right? So, yeah.
I think they did very well. And I've been on night shift since the beginning of this thing, because one of the steps that they took to kind of minimize contact with people was to split us up at the facility into 2 different teams. And so now it's just...
Yeah, because you guys never had a day shift and a night shift.
Right, we never had a day shift, night shift. And so one solution that Tim came up with was, hey, we're gonna switch, we're gonna split it in half, and we're gonna have people go on nights and people stay on days, and it's kind of minimize the interactions in between for people. So that's one thing that they did, and I thought it was really good. And another was they issued out face masks, and I love that face mask. It's probably one of my favorite ones.
Really?
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Oh, the black one.
The black one.
Okay. Yeah.
I
don't like it.
It's I don't like it. Yours is over there, isn't it? I saw it sitting on your desk.
It is.
I think they took it very serious, and Pastor Morales also took it very serious.
He did.
He took it very serious because, like I said, when Potter's House shut down, we knew it was real, and so I believe we were out of service for how long? How long were we out of service for?
I don't know, man. I don't remember, but I know that
was it like 2 months.
No.
Was it longer?
No, it was shorter than that.
It was shorter than that?
To me, it feels like it was shorter than that. And then they began to do
Parking lot services.
no churches streaming them. They have services inside, but it would only be the pastor and the song service, you know, and then the video ministry, and they would record. Pastor would be preaching to an empty.
I feel like that went on for like a month or so.
No, I think that was maybe 2 or 3 services.
Really?
And then the idea came out to let's do it in the parking lot because the weather is nice. It's in the summertime. Let's do it in the parking lot.
And the sun would kill off the COVID. Right? So yeah, no, we I think he took it very serious. Pastor is no dummy, and he knows what he has to do to protect his congregation. And then also, not only that, he has to obey the law, and whatever the governor puts out for the state of Virginia, he's going to follow. Pastor's not a rebel. You know, the church is not rebellious when it comes to the law of the land.
Right.
And so whatever the governor puts out, you know, social distancing, wearing a mask, we follow all of those, and we always have. You know, some people may get a little lax, but pastor puts out every day, every service.
As per the governor.
As per the governor.
Yeah.
You know, you must wear a mask while inside the building, and so I think he took it very serious, but not overly. There's a balance.
So here's the balance in this, and this is something that is pretty interesting because around that time I followed Pastor Harold Warner on Twitter, and he ended up posting this, which was,
you found something?
Yeah, which is that's what I was just looking for right now. I wasn't being rude, bro.
Oh no, you're
good. I was just trying to look for what Pastor Harold Warner had tweeted out, which definitely applies to, because a lot of people were complaining. Like different people had mixed emotions about shutting down the church and having parking lot service, you know, and it's like, oh well, does pastor not have enough faith, you know, that this is gonna protect the, you know, that this is gonna affect the people? And other people are like, man, this a pandemic, seriously, you're gonna do a parking lot service, you know? Like, there's mixed emotions. Now, I didn't personally hear anything from anybody, so I'm just assuming in my mind, knowing how big of a church that we have, about 400 people or so, and how different minds and different personalities are, you know, and what people may be thinking. So this is what I just imagined, you know. So this is what Pastor Harold Warner put out. He tweeted, I took a snapshot of it and I sent it to Pastor Morales and Pastor Rodriguez, and it says, he said, your pastor has never pastored a church through a pandemic before. When he opens, people are going to say he should have closed. When he closes, people are going to say he should have opened. When he does not shake hands, people are going to say he needs faith. When he shakes hands, people are going to say he's foolish. He's going to make some difficult decisions to protect the flock, considering everything from your spiritual growth to legal liabilities that you aren't even thinking about. Every pastor believes that they pastor the most amazing group of people. Remember this. No one wants things to go well at church as much as your pastor. Your pastor needs your prayers and support right now.
That's facts.
I read that and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I could see one extreme.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see the other extreme.
Darn if you do, darn if you don't.
Yes. But our pastors have never pastored a church during a pandemic.
Right.
So how can we hold him to
the
such an extreme standard? And he's human, and he's... Bro, his main interest is the flock, is the church.
You be the pastor. You be the pastor. What are you going to do, huh?
We were just talking about, in the very beginning, how church folks have become family.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, we can be over familiar sometimes. You know, but, man, can we... And our pastors are pastors, but he's human also.
He's human.
Can we just follow?
Right.
And without talking back or backbiting, and just follow his lead, man. And you know what? Let's just... Like Pastor Warner said, he needs our prayers and support right now. That's the same... Now, when he said that and I read that, I was like, yes, I agree. And it didn't make me feel bad because I already had that attitude going forward into it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I already had that attitude with our CEO when he decided to take the route that he did with our company and remote working. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this and try to be as active as possible. Try, you know, if you need help, then communicate or whatnot. But he took proper steps. And I saw that and I was like, right now, what I need to do is just support that.
Right.
Because I still need to be able to do my job. This is new, completely. We're all learning.
Yeah.
So how can I have that kind of grace and understanding with my boss,
But not with your pastor.
but not with my pastor, man?
Right.
If anything, my pastor to me
It's closer.
is a thicker lifeline
Right. Than your boss.
than my boss who just pays me a check.
Right. No, that's wisdom. And I think the thing about it is you have to use wisdom in situations like this, right? You can't be foolish. But so through this pandemic, right? Something you said, like if you don't shake someone's hand, you don't have faith.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do, you're foolish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've experienced that. I'm not going to mention any names from certain individuals within church, and I'm just like, no, dude.
Which part? That you're shaking hands?
The shaking hands, just a
Where
shaking
it's
hands
like,
thing.
that's foolish, man. You're shaking.
He was like, particular brother came up to me, and he reaches out his hand to shake it, and I'm like, nah, dude, we're doing elbow bumps and fist bumps. Like, let's just be wise about this. And I got hit with the, oh ye of little faith, And I'm like, come on, man, it's not about it's about using a little bit of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A little discernment. But come on, man, we're in the
What's it
middle
gonna
of a
hurt you
pandemic.
to?
What's it gonna hurt, bro?
What's it gonna hurt you to fist bump me or
when this is all
elbow?
over, we'll dap up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, let's be wise. Let's have faith, and not get carried away with being scared.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Let's be wise. Let's follow the rules that have been set out. Let's not be rebellious, and we all serve God together. I'm not going to take this to an extreme.
You're gonna follow the rules at work, right?
Right. I'm not.
And at work they're saying, hey, let's not fist bump. Let's not shake hands. Let's not even fist bump. Let's just do elbows.
Right.
That's the way that you.
If you got so much faith, walk around, tell people to cough in your face. Hey, bro, I'm a man of God. Cough right here, bro.
Let me open up my mouth.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Just have people sneeze right in your face. You got that much faith. Look, you got to be wise, man. And people take it to the extreme, man.
Hey, I wish Morty was here, man, because he ended up. This was after he had recovered. He ended up seeing Dustin at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Did he tell you this one?
Mm-mm.
So he saw Dustin at the grocery store.
Let me swallow my coffee first.
Dustin was over there looking at the meats.
Mm-hmm.
And he's grocery shopping, and so Morty comes up behind him, and he goes, and he sees Dustin just kind of like, he didn't want to look completely,
He didn't want to turn around and look.
So then Morty started coughing even louder. Oh man, me telling the story doesn't do justice.
Yeah, we got it. We'll get it.
You
from
could
Morty.
only imagine.
We'll reschedule.
Morty just kind of coughing. Exactly.
No, yeah, Morty is extreme, bro.
And then he got closer, and then finally Dustin just kind of turned around, and he saw that it was Morty, and he was just like, "Come on, man."
When was this? How long ago was this?
This was, I want to say like around the summertime. Like COVID was still going on, bro. And
my gosh.
Dustin was kind of like what the heck, man?
That's hilarious.
He was about to turn.
No, I gotta hear that from Morty. Morty's stories are the best, man.
Yes, bro, they're hilarious. Bro.
And he's over the top, man. He's a Jim Carrey of the Potter's house.
He is, man. He is. He's crazy. But yeah, man. So that's pretty interesting. You said something about fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that same theme, and you know what? That's something that I felt when I was going through COVID,
Mm-hmm.
where I felt a real fear that I've never felt before. Now
Yeah.
I've been, like I've mentioned before, I've been ran over by a forklift, and I had the fear of being paralyzed.
Mm.
That was a horrible feeling because I couldn't move my legs. That was a real fear. Aside from that, this was the second scariest thing.
Mm.
No, I want to say the third, because one of the biggest, scariest things was losing my marriage.
Mm.
Fear of that. Fear
Right.
of losing my
That's
my
huge,
marriage. Fear of my wife leaving because of my stupidity and
Mm-hmm.
immaturity and my mistakes and stuff like that.
Right.
That's for a different subject. But that's one of the biggest fears, losing somebody that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was that accident, horrendous accident.
Yeah.
The third one was not being able to breathe or take a deep breath.
Mm.
In the middle of the
that
night.
happened to me.
In the middle of the night with 103, 104 fever and body aching and not being able to take a deep breath, man.
Yeah, dude.
It scared. I was so scared I didn't sleep for 3 days.
Mm.
I tried not to sleep until I eventually just passed
Just
out.
pass out.
And woke up and I'm like, I'm not dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get through this.
That happened to me too. And it got to the point where the wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I couldn't respond to her. I'm just like it's just shallow breathing.
Yeah.
And then
shallow breathing.
And then it passed.
Yeah.
But the worst was waking up and my side of the bed was soaked.
Yep.
Bro,
it's sweat.
It's like someone tossed a bucket of water on me, bro. Mm-hmm. And you feel so nasty because your whole body is wet. And the spot that you were laying in was wet.
Yep.
I had to lay a towel back down, like, because I woke up like 4 o'clock in the morning and realized that I'm just like profusely sweating.
Yeah.
And so I had to get a towel and lay back down.
Yeah.
Flip the pillow over.
Yep.
It was gross.
I do that throughout the night anyways, but
to get the cool side, you like the cool side of the pillow.
Yes. I'm not the only one.
Everybody likes the cool side of the pillow, man.
So then speaking on that, there was a real fear. And I think that this whole pandemic thing, that it works off of fear. I know that you said that it attacks the brain, but I think that there's also something else, something supernatural maybe, that it attacks, man.
Yeah.
Because when you're scared,
oh yeah,
you've heard of the fight or
flight,
and I've always been the one to instead of fleeing, I'll head right towards whatever the threat or the challenge is. Right. That's always been me, and it's my brother told me, you're stupid. You hear gunshots, you put your head down and you run away. You don't go towards the gunshots.
Right.
I was that idiot, you
run towards gunshots?
Oh yeah, bro. I'd hear gunshots and I'm like, what's going on? And I'd try to make my way towards. He's like, what are you, stupid? Put your head down. That happened in California.
Really?
That happened one time during a Puerto Rican festival in San Diego. But that's neither here nor there. I just remember I've always been that type to try to head towards whatever the issue was and try to tackle it. And so, but when it came to this, I felt fear, bro, like chilling fear. And I think that a lot of people, even though they didn't have COVID, that's how it attacked the whole world, and our nation, like a spirit of fear that is paralyzing.
Bro,
that's paralyzing, bro.
Some people that I know, like the fear kept them. Now, there's a limit. Like you should minimize your interactions with people, right? But not completely 100%. Like during when the big boom happened, like during the time when New York had it and everything, and it was the huge ordeal in New York. Yeah, people should minimize 100%. Like just stay home. Stay home. If you can work from home, work from home. If you have to go into work, minimize, wear your PPE, whatever, your mask, your gloves, do what you got to do. But some people, like still, this is like the temperature of some people, they will not leave their house. They get all their groceries delivered, no company, like nothing. 100, and it's all out of a spirit of fear.
Yeah.
Because there's limits. There's limits to it. Like, if you go out to the store, you put your mask and gloves on, and
not
you sanitize.
Limits. I would say there's a balance to it.
There's a balance. Yeah, there's a balance.
That it's like you can't be like, how can you live in fear like that? That's not living. That's
be
surviving.
Cautious. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Be cautious.
Right. So that's something that is pretty interesting because you see that in our world, in the generation that we live in our times, in our current times right now. You see that people operating, but whenever it's now, this is where it's kind of, you see a little bit of hypocrisy almost,
right.
Where it's like, okay, well, but if it's to rally together against this thing, then we're going to come together and it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a mask or not. Well, it's like, hold on, how can you pump out, put on mask and this fear, but then when it's compromising or when it's to benefit something else that you want, then who cares what the rules?
Yeah.
So the way that I feel about it now, that I've survived COVID, it's not like I feel like I have a shield of armor around me that I can come in contact. Because
I feel bulletproof.
Like bulletproof.
I'm just kidding.
I did at first.
Yeah.
When I finished it, I was like,
I got the antibodies, son.
I got this.
I'm
going anywhere. And so I had that kind of where I felt secure. I felt confident. I could go anywhere. It's fine. And you know what? We survived. Our house survived COVID.
Right.
Because I had it pretty bad. And so I felt like that. Now I know that I can still get it. And I know that anybody in my family can still get it again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there has been cases of people getting it again.
Right.
So I'm not gonna just like put myself out there, but there is more of. Now I'm still washing my hands and using hand sanitizer whenever I go to a store, but there's a lot less of a fear and a lot more of a confidence of things are going to be okay.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever I go anywhere.
Exactly.
So I don't drive around with a mask on.
Yeah, that's
I
silly.
go into the store and I'll put on a mask just because that's what the regulation
so
is.
Funny.
But if that regulation wasn't there, then I wouldn't wear a mask.
So it's funny to see people in their cars with masks on.
I'm not even going to comment.
No, I'm going to comment. It's stupid. It's dumb. You look dumb and stupid in your car with a mask on and gloves. I see your gloved hands on the steering wheel. I'm calling you a dummy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
I'm joking. It's
just
jokes.
It's funny. It's true though, man. It's true.
So we got to wrap. We're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to stop this. This is.
So we got more to cover, and I think in the next episode, the part 2 of this, we should hit on the future.
What does 2021?
What does 2021 look like?
Post-COVID.
What does 2030 look like?
Whoa, bro, that's way out there.
What does 2040 look like?
Chill, bro.
2050, bro.
Oh, come on, man.
What does 3,000 look like?
All right, listen, you're getting out of
hand. All right.
Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have been hanging with us this whole time, listening to this conversation, listening to us surviving COVID, we appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And if you tuned this out a while ago, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to.
We didn't mean to lose you, man.
We didn't mean to lose you. We were just into it, you know.
Yeah.
But feel free to leave us a comment.
Yep.
At Gmail, in our Gmail.
Our Gmail, KTB podcast at gmail.com.
Yep, that's right.
And then, again, if you want to DM us on either Twitter or Instagram, the KTB podcast on Instagram and at the KTB podcast on Twitter. We'd love to have your feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys and girls, whoever's listening to us, wherever you are, whatever country. Remember, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen to your podcast. We are out here, and we want to know what you guys are thinking and what you think about us.
Yep, episodes will drop weekly.
Absolutely. So, you got anything else?
That's it.
All right, we're done.
All right, KTB out.
Later.